bacterial cell wall is partially dissolved is known as the spiroplast. Let's see the internal material. First of all, the internal material of the bacterial cells is known as the cytoplasm. Internal material of the bacterial cells is known as the cytoplasm. In cytoplasm, the membrane bounded cell organelles are absent, that is endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi body are absent in the prokaryotic cells. And in eukaryotic cells, the mitochondria is acting as a powerhouse of the cells, or it generates the energy. But in prokaryotic cells, the mitochondria are absent. Who will generate the energy? In that prokaryotic cells, because the bacteria are living cells, that's why it's required the energy. But mitochondria, powerhouse of the cells, or it generate the energy, but the mitochondria are absent in the prokaryotic cells. That's why here who will generate the energy? In prokaryotic cells, there the enfolding cells of the cell membrane, that is, it's known as the mesosome. This mesosome is acting as a powerhouse of the cells in the prokaryotic cells. Here remember one thing, the mitochondria is absent in the prokaryotic cells, and this mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cells. It means it generates the energy, or it provides the energy to the cells. But here mitochondria is absent. Who will generate energy? In prokaryotic cells, the enfolding cells of the bacterial cell membrane, that is known as the mesosome, and this mesosome is acting as a powerhouse of the cells, or it generates the energy. Several enzymes present in that mesosomes, and these enzymes are helps for the production of the ATP. Several enzymes present in that mesosome, and these enzymes are helps for the production of the ATP. Then here these dots are represents the ribosome. It represents the ribosome, that is in prokaryotic cells, that is 70S type of ribosome presents in the prokaryotic cells. 70S type of ribosome presents in the prokaryotic cell. Here the S stands for Svedberg unit or sedimentation coefficient, or also known as the sedimentation coefficient. These 70S type ribosomes made up from the two units. This 70S type of ribosome, it's made up from the two units, that is larger unit and smaller unit. This made up from 5 and 23S ribosomal RNA, and this smaller unit made up from 30S ribosomal RNA. Then three types of ribosomal RNA presents in the prokaryotic cells. Three types of ribosomal RNA presents in the prokaryotic cell, that is 5S ribosomal RNA, then 16S ribosomal RNA, and last one is 23S ribosomal RNA. In this larger unit, the 5 and 23S ribosomal RNA presents in the larger unit, and here 30S RNA presents in the smaller unit. Then here the hair-like structure presents on the bacterial cells. Hair-like structures presents on the bacterial cells. These hair-like structure are two types. This short hair-like structure is known as fimbriae, and the long hair-like structure known as the sex pillar. When it is in single, it is known as the sex pillars or the pillars. Then it is also known as a fertility factor. It is also known as the fertility factor, or it is also known as the F factor. It is also known as the F factor. Then this fimbriae what is the function of this fimbriae? This fimbriae provide the surface attachment. It's provide the surface attachment, and this sex pillar or the F factor or the fertility factor, it helps in the reproduction method. This sex pillar or the fertility factor or the F factor helps in the reproduction method, that is it helps in the conjugation method, that is it helps in sexual reproduction in bacteria, that is it helps in the conjugation method. It's form a contraction bridge. This sex pili, it's form the contraction bridge, and through this bridge it's transfer the genetic material from one bacteria to the another bacteria. This sex pili, it form the contraction bridge, and through this bridge it's transfer the genetic material from one bacteria to the another bacteria. That's why I told you this sex pili or this F factor are helps in the conjugation method, that is it helps in the reproduction method, and this fimbriae helps for the surface attachment to the bacterial cell structure. Then the genetic material of the bacterial cells is very simple, because of the nuclear membrane is absent, the nuclear bounded membrane is absent in the bacterial cells. That's why the genetic material of the bacterial cells is very simple. Then when the genetic material that lies the cytoplasm, the genetic material that lies the cytoplasm and the point of contact is known as the chloroplast. The point of contact is known as the chloroplast, or is known as the nucleate regions, is known as the nucleate region. And here the single circular DNA or the naked single circular DNA presents in the bacterial cell structure, and here also a circular DNA presents in the bacterial cell structure, but this DNA is different from this main DNA. The DNA is different from the main DNA, that's why is known as the extra chromosomal DNA. That's why is known as the extra chromosomal DNA, and this extra chromosomal DNA is known as the plasmid. This extra chromosomal DNA, why it is called as the extra chromosomal DNA? Because this circular DNA or single circular DNA is different from the main DNA, that's why is known as the extra chromosomal DNA, and this extra chromosomal DNA is known as the plasmid, and this plasmids provides the antibiotic resistance. This plasmids, it provides the antibiotic resistance. It provides the antibiotic resistance, and also it helps. It's also known as the fertility factor. This plasmids is also known as the fertility factor, that is transfers from one bacteria to the another bacteria. That's why it's known as the fertility factor. Then here this long hair-like structure is known as the flagella. The long hair-like structure is known as the flagella, and this flagella helps for the motility. It helps for the motility, or it's provide the motility, or it helps in the movements, means transfer from one point to the another point. That's why this flagella provide the motility, or it helps in the movements. Some bacteria are without flagella, that is known as the Eukaryotic. Bacteria without flagella is known as the Eukaryotic. Some bacterial cells having a flagella all over the body. Some bacterial cells having a flagella all over the body is known as the peritrichous. Is known as the peritrichous, or without flagella is known as the Eukaryotic, or flagella at the one end is known as the monotrichous, or flagella or the pair or group of the flagella presents at both the ends is known as the lophotrichous. Okay, then when the flagella presents all over the bacterial body is known as peritrichous, or the bacterial cells without flagella is known as Eukaryotic. Bacterial cells having a single flagella at the one end is known as monotrichous, and the group of flagella present at both the ends is known as the lophotrichous. And this flagella, this hair-like structure, long hair-like structure, that is known as flagella, and this flagella provides the motility. It provides the motility. Okay. Thank you.